NFL action plan. Kush, I got Keg here. We're going to break down the Thursday night game. We even got a couple of notes on the Sunday night game with the Steelers and the Jets, and then break down the 1 and 4 o'clock slates. My friend Keg, you're already firing off bets. How are you today, my friend?
What's up, buddy? Another week. Here we go again.
Yeah, it's going too fast. Like, we're over a third of the way through the season, and it's just flying. I know you want some sleep, but it stinks how fast the season goes in the NFL.
It feels like it's been 3 years, but we got what do we got? 12 more weeks to go.
Yeah, something including this week. Yeah, like 12 more weeks to go, which I'm pretty excited about. I just love this sport. It's so much fun to bet on.
We can't complain. We're making money, right?
Well, that's the big thing. Like, we're making money, so it's a lot of fun. It's just the best. And you sit there on Sunday and you watch all the games, and you sit there Sunday night and Monday, and then Thursday. I guess I'm just listing off all the days of the week except for Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday. But yeah, man, this is just spectacular. And again, we'll have our live show Thursday night, 8:15. We'll do the Broncos and the Saints. We're going to break that down here in just a second. We'll do our Sunday night show. That starts at around 8:10. And then we've got Monday Night Football as well, which starts right around the same time. So, Kegger, enough of this, dude. We are going to talk about Devontae Adams to end the show. But first, we got to get into this Broncos-Saints game. Broncos 3-point favorites on the road, visiting the Saints. Are you kidding me? Well, a lot of injuries for the Saints right now. No Rashid Shaheed. He might have to go on IR. Olave's in concussion protocol. That's not looking very good. Taysom Hill is out. I mean, offensively, this team is not giving Spencer Rattler a very fair chance. The total here is 37 minus 10 on both sides of DraftKings. Break it down for me, man, because there's a lot of guys that people haven't probably heard of that I like in this game. Devon Vele is one of them. Audric Estime, who's the third running back for the Broncos. I don't even know if he gets props up there. And then the guy on the Saints the two guys, I think, Jawan Johnson, the tight end, and Bub Means, the wide receiver. So there's your breakdown from me. Give the people something they can actually use.
Yeah, Adam won't shut up about Bub Means this week. But
Good.
The Saints are in absolute disarray. If I'm being honest, the Broncos definitely feel like the side here, but it's incredibly hard to pull the trigger on a rookie quarterback less than halfway through his rookie year, laying points on the road. That is not a recipe to win in this league. But like you said, when you consider that the Saints are going to be down starting QB, your number 1 and 2 wide out, probably a cornerback, probably your starting right guard, maybe the tight end. I mean, like, how could you possibly look any other way? It's the NFL, though. It's tough. And weird shit tends to happen all the time. The way we make money in this league is going to be hard. But, if I feel good about anything in this game, it's where we landed for subscribers yesterday. I think we're on a couple winners, but I'm not sure if there will be many opportunities live. We will need offenses to move the ball in order to cash tickets, and I do not feel great about either team doing that consistently. That said, I'm going to lean the Broncos here for sure. I just can't lay it. I just can't with the kid. And a slight lean to the under, but I'm probably not enough to get involved in either.
Yeah, I think the biggest injury on the Denver side is Patrick Surtain. He's not going to play. He's in concussion protocol. It'd take a miracle at this point, unless they already ruled him out, which I didn't see. But like I said, I go back and watch the Broncos games every Monday morning, and that defense got torched by Herbert, threw for over 300 yards. I think 327. We haven't seen Herbert do that. Once Surtain went down, he played a play. They just got roasted in the secondary. Here's a guy that took away the whole half of the field, Keg. Surtain, to me, the best corner in the league 2 years straight. He's not going to be in there. So it's going to be tough going for that Denver secondary, except the ultimate equalizer is what? Spencer Rattler. So again, I think a guy like Devon Vele could be in play here, depending on if you want to eat 30.5 yards. He has, in the 2 games, he has been targeted the most by Bo Nix. So that's a guy, a deep sleeper there that I know Iowa is going to look into for me.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to look to pull the trigger on Kamara yards, Kamara receptions.
Mhm.
I don't hate the means call. I have to see what the numbers come out at.
Mhm.
I didn't see any player props.
33.5. The juice is already pushed up to minus 30, but when DraftKings and FanDuel post theirs, we'll probably get a 34.5.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. But I mean, I guess I get it. They don't have anybody, you know?
And there's no Surtain. Like that
Yeah.
secondary is not that good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the
So,
defense is pretty solid, like overall, but yeah, they're definitely missing their best player,
I
no doubt.
mean, they looked like a different defense without Surtain, though. That whole game, they could not stop the Chargers. And then when the Chargers went into run mode, they did a little bit better, but the passing yards were there for Herbert all day long. So first
Yeah,
time this year, Herbert too. They were coming out of the bye, but we hadn't seen Herbert throw for 300 yards, and he did.
yeah, for sure. I don't like this game, to be honest.
Okay. I'm excited now because it looks like we found a couple of angles to bet it. And I went with Iowa on the Bub Means. Might even ladder him as the day goes on. I know he was excited about Bub Means. So I just want to find out about Vele, and then we'll move on from there. And I think another guy to dig into is Jawan Johnson. He was the first read on quite a few of the passes that we saw coming out from Spencer Rattler. And I think that's big, man. That's really big. So again, Bo Nix, 55% of all attempts complete but thrown beyond the line of scrimmage. This guy, he's 28th in the league. Bo Nix is a debacle throwing, but he can run, right? And then what do we have for the top options now for Rattler? We got Jawan Johnson, Bub Means, Mason Tipton, and Cedric Wilson. Those are your three top receivers. That's not good, man.
That's not great.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
No, it's not.
Oh,
And that's the reason why a rookie's laying 2.5 on the road.
exactly. Make sure you hit the like button here and subscribe to our Nuke the House YouTube channel. If you do that, that would be wonderful. Then you can turn on the notifications and you'll know when our live shows and these type of shows our live shows in the afternoon are on the air as well. So Nuke the House on YouTube. If you're watching on X, come on over to YouTube, subscribe, and you'll be better off for it. Before we get into the Sunday games, Keg, I do want to give you a little sharp report here, who the sharps are on. Remember, the Jets were the sharp pick last year, but the Jets are taking only 53% of the money line bets, 83% of the money. That's a lot. Despite taking 70% of the spread bets back in Detroit, the line moved further toward Minnesota, moving 1.5 from 1 to 2.5. And then the Texans-Packers 50-50 spread bet, but the Packers moved from 1.5 to 3-point favorites. So that's the sharp report right now. You got Jets number 1, you've got Packers number 2, and you got Minnesota number 3. That Minnesota game. What are you shaking your head for?
Some of these lines, man, and the movement has been wild this week. We'll get into it as we talk about the games, but like I disagree with a lot of moves this week.
Okay.
Based on where the lines should be.
All right, let's go to London first. It's the early game. Patriots at Jaguars. It's the Patriots getting 5.5 on the road. When we had our buddy Gil Alexander from VSiN on, he said he smashed that line for the Patriots immediately. 42.5 is the total. It's tough to trust the Jaguars. Drake May didn't look great in the first half, but he made a couple of nice throws in the second half. So I wonder, with two horrible teams going at it, how much interest do you have in this game to begin with? And second of all, who the hell would pay minus 238 to back the Jaguars on the money line?
Yeah, I don't really have interest back in the side, but I mean, I don't mind the total. Look ahead line on the Jags was 5.5. We did see some sixes pop for a bit, but the legal market is currently, I think, sitting 5.5 last time I checked. Total open 42.5, and the over was bet pretty hard. But now we're sitting back at 42.5 again, basically market wide. So people initially hitting the button on the over is confusing to me. We're talking about two teams that have been subpar offensively the entire year. And I know that the Pats defense is playing about as worse as a defense can play. We're talking about a 70% chance of rain. We're talking about sustained winds at 20 to 25. We're talking about gusts of 45 miles an hour I've seen. So how are they going to throw the ball? Like we know that in order for weather to truly affect a game, it's got to be sustained at 20 basically. And we're probably going to be there on Sunday. Plus the field conditions have been an issue here. I know that they have put down a new field. But the only reason I haven't hit the button yet is because I just don't, it's not a normal stadium and it's not completely open. So it's not going to be like they're at MetLife dealing with the same wind that they would be dealing with if it was, 20 to 25 and gusts of 45. So that's the only reason why I haven't bet the under yet. But I'm not buying the over money in this spot. I feel like the under is the play in this game. Or you target running backs, considering throwing the football could be very challenging. So slight lean to the Jags, I guess. But Peterson has to lose his job if he doesn't come home with a win against the Pats. I just can't see it any other way around it, right? He's got to lose his job. But I like the under here. Lean under.
The one guy that really stood out last week, just coming off the bench and playing like he was healthy, like it was nothing, was Evan Engram. I mean, this guy, he went bananas. Didn't he have like 10 targets and he caught most of them? His receiving yard line is 46.5. I'm trying to find a line with his receptions, but Evan Engram really made a difference there because he was the safety blanket for Lawrence. The problem is they couldn't finish in the red zone and they turned the ball over a ton, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind Evan Engram when he's healthy. Trevor Lawrence likes to target him. But like I said, how are they going to be able to throw the ball with 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts? I have my doubts.
What if the wind is behind you, though? If the wind's behind you, you're okay to go deep. If it's swirling, you're in trouble. You know what I'm going to do after the show? I'm going to go look into the wind patterns at Wembley Stadium. And I'm not kidding you. That's how big a dork I am. Like button would be great, especially if you want me to look into wind patterns in Wembley Stadium. Lions Vikings is the next one, buddy. Lions getting 2 on the road at the Vikings again. Sharp money coming in on Minnesota. The total is healthy at 50, -10 both ways. If you want to bet Minnesota, they're now -130 at DraftKings, and the Lions are +10. I mean, Sam Darnold, you got Justin Jefferson. They're going with their backup, Ty Chandler, although they left a little sliver of hope that Aaron Jones would come back. And then Detroit coming off that performance was just massive. So talk to me here. Detroit looked great last week. Can Minnesota cover this too?
Probably the game I'm looking forward to the most on Sunday, I would say. So we're sitting like 2.5 total, 50 market wide, basically. The total is interesting because initially the move was to the under early in the week, but we're starting to see the over take money now because we're out of the 40s, we're into the 50s. Don't even get me going about this line, Kushner, because the theme of the week this week is what a difference a few weeks make. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to talk about the line move in multiple games this week. This is one of them. And at what point is the line jumping the shark on my dear friend Jonathan Bravo and his Minnesota Vikings? Do you know what this line would have been going into week 1, Kush?
Probably Lions minus a field goal on the road.
Lions would have been about 4.5 on the road.
Whoa.
Okay. So now the Lions are sitting at 2.5. The Vikings can't be at that point yet, right? Not against the Lions. This team should legitimately be 5-0. They beat the brakes off Tampa Bay in a loss. They had no business losing that game. We're not talking about a 2-3 Lions team. This adjustment feels inflated to me. Now, the only reason that I have not bet the Detroit Lions is you cannot overstate the loss of Aiden Hutchinson and what he means to that team. Literally the worst person on the field to go down outside of Goff and probably St. Brown. Combine that with the fact that Aaron Jones might play. Hawkinson might play, and it starts to make this call on the line slightly more interesting. I can only lean with Detroit here because they're just fundamentally a better team than the Vikings, but I'm not sure I can get there if Jones and Hawkinson go. If Hutchinson was playing in this game, I would have already bet Detroit. But since they're not, I'm going to lean Detroit for now. I'm still going to lean the over too. Other than that, I've got nothing.
You going to look into the player props in this market?
No, I'm just going to pass on player props this week, I think.
Okay, good. That's great to hear because you already put some down.
Of course I'm
Well, you're not talking about it though. I don't know what the hell is in your mind.
Yeah, but I mean, how often are we talking about player props on this show?
Well, we already did.
You have a Nuke the prop show specifically made for player props.
Friday, 4:00, Nuke the props. My guy Zach Cohen from VSiN's going to hop on and give us the lowdown on that too. We had a really good show when we did it together earlier this year. Okay. I'm actually seeing the total came down a little bit. You talked about the total in that Minnesota-Detroit game.
So yeah, it was 50 at noon. Has it moved?
I mean, it's still 50, but we saw 51.5 earlier in the week. So yeah, it's moved quite a bit. Texans Packers. I've got some good notes on this game and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how much this is going to tell us about either team, but I do think that, the Packers, that offense has a chance to be really, really special, especially since your boy came back, Jordan Love, and he's looked pretty good, right? So the line in this game, Packers minus 2.5 at home, 47.5 is the total. Interesting, isn't it? This has the potential to be a really good game here. But again, if you just take 1 week sample without Nico Collins, Tank Dell got a ton of work. Diggs got a ton of work. Everything we expected to happen kind of happened there. And what's up with Joe Mixon? Like, he looked dead in the first quarter and ended up just nuking the slate. He was spectacular as well. So talk to me here. Full arsenal of receivers, healthy for Jordan Love. Josh Jacobs, screw Matt LaFleur because of him. And let's get the side and the total out from you.
Yeah, I mean, this is another game, man. The look-ahead line in this game was Green Bay 1.5. We saw 3s in the market earlier. Now we're like 2.5. Total initially opened 48.5, sitting 47.5 right now, at least last time I checked. So the Green Bay Packers have dealt with a lot this year, right? They lost Love for a few weeks. They dealt with that adversity extremely well for a young team. However, this is still a team that's basically beat absolutely nobody. And when I mean nobody, they have wins against the Titans, the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Colts. That's not good, man. Now, granted, all you could do is beat the teams that are put in front of you. I get that. If you look at some of the advanced metrics, the offense is not blowing the doors off anybody this year. They're currently 29th in success rate. Carolina's 25th. For those that don't know what success rate is, it's an efficiency rating that is down in distance, basically, for every play built into the number. Basically what it is. It's not a great stat to shit the bed in. And the Green Bay Packers have a lot more to prove this year, in my opinion. Now, obviously, Holden said it, LaFleur gets under my skin this season like nobody does because he does not try to lock up wins. He has no problem throwing the ball every down when he's up 20 in the fourth quarter. It's just bad coaching. There's just no two ways around that. This number, though, again, feels inflated. It shouldn't be making its way towards a full 3. I would have had this game Packers minus a half point, probably, maybe 1 going into the season. You can't tell me what has changed in this game through 6 weeks to have this number be 3 now. Nico Collins is not worth 2 full points to the line, not even close. And when you consider how many times I've said out loud that the Texans defense is playing well and better than expected this year, that also wasn't built into the preseason line either. This number's wrong, period. So, like, if you think I'm wrong, you don't understand how the line works in this league, period. So I'm going to lean the Texans. I'll probably be on them. I think the total's a pass for me. If the Texans were home, I would have been on the over. They aren't. So I'd rather back them instead of the total.
All right, couple of notes. Texans have allowed the third fewest total yards. We talk about their defense all the time. You just did. They're spectacular. Fourth in yards allowed per play at just 4.8.
Let them know, Holden. Let them know.
5 times in 6 games, they've allowed fewer than 200 passing yards. Now, Drake May was one of those guys, but still. And then the injuries that they have, though, defensively for the Texans. So no Al-Shaair. He is their starting linebacker. He likely is out. He's not officially out yet. I mean, it's up and down. So D'Angelo Ross is going to probably have to start for Lassiter. There's a lot of injuries here. Jimmy Ward is out.
Yeah, but they've had pieces going in and out all year. Yeah. And they've still been rock solid, you know?
I'll give it to you. I
just don't think the line should be making its way to 3. I don't know what's happened in the first 6 weeks for that to be the case. I just think it's wrong.
I hope Josh Jacobs gets 4 yards this week.
Me too.
Seriously.
On 1 carry.
Let's see here. Nick Chubb is who we're going to get into now. Bengals Browns in Cleveland. What a debacle that the Browns have turned into once again. Worst quarterback in the history of the league. Now no more Amari Cooper. Bengals come in as 6-point favorites, though. The way the Bengals have played in this rivalry game, that's an interesting line. 42 is the total here, and Nick Chubb is back. Good timing for Nick Chubb to come back because the Bengals are allowing the 5th most rushing yards in the NFL at 146 per game, my friend. This is going to be a big boost for Cleveland, whose running game really has not been very good. We have to wonder how Chubb's going to look in his return because he had a nasty injury and a lot of rehab with him. But boy, this is a lot of points. Bengals on the road -6, given the way they've looked.
It is. You're right. And the total got pounded. The under, I think it was as high as 45 at one point, and now it's 41.5. It's not hard to see why the total got pounded. The Browns offense has been as bad as an offense can be through 6 weeks. And like you mentioned, while the addition of Chubb coming back probably is a net positive for Deshaun Watson, we know that Chubb will definitely be on a snap count and probably won't see a full workload definitely in his first start back. Watson continues to put up historically bad performances this year. Again, the weakest pass defensive schedule through 6 weeks in the league, and he's historically bad. So it's every bit as bad as it looks for the Cleveland Browns right now. And there's nothing that's going to make this situation be any better until they move on from Watson. For the Bengals, feels like we're finally possibly turning a corner. The defense responded somewhat last week. They looked pretty good. Keep in mind, they were playing the New York Giants without their best weapon. But, it's not like this is a step up in competition from the Giants. It's probably a step down in competition again. But like Holden said, you're paying for it for sure. But the Bengals are absolutely the only way that I could look this week. I said it last week. I'll say it again. There's no shot while this guy's playing quarterback will I ever bet the Browns again. Never, ever, ever. So it's not happening this week. I'm going to lean Bengals. And I still think, even though this total got pounded, man, I still think that this game probably goes over the current, under the current number at 41.5. But the number's gone. We can't bet it. But lean Bengals.
I want to throw a couple things out here. First of all, Tyler's in the chat. What up, Tyler? He'll be on Nuke the Props Friday at 4:00 Eastern as well. Let's see your card addict. Keg, please explain the look ahead line for those who might not know what that is.
Yeah, so there's a preseason look ahead line, which is what the line would be looking forward for every week. But then there's also a quasi look ahead line on, like, right now you can go to FanDuel and you can bet every single game for the remainder of the year. You could look at the schedule. Now you take those numbers, those are the look ahead lines. and then you juxtapose them to the current line on that week, and you have an idea where the line's gone because of what has happened in previous weeks. And in order to be successful in this league, you have got to use that in your handicap. If you don't, you are drawing dead.
I mean, you didn't have to use the word juxtapose. You could have just said compare and contrast, but I guess you just wanted to look smart.
I'm sorry. Is that not, did I use it right?
No, you used it very well.
Okay.
Very, very well. I'm guaranteeing you 75% of our audience had no idea what you're talking about, though.
I'm sorry.
I love 10-cent words, man. They're terrific. Absolutely terrific. You're made, Kegs_made, over on the Cincinnati game. Refs 4-1 to the over. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah. What'd you have for lunch today, Keg?
Yeah, you know me. I don't eat. I eat one time a day. It'll be tonight.
You don't even snack during the day?
Nothing.
Veggie sticks? Anything?
Nothing.
Oh, boy. I just had a Giacomello smoothie. Boy, was it delicious.
What is that?
Oh, man. It's got a little everything. It's got a little pumpkin. It's got a little almond, a little vanilla, a little whey protein. Oh, it's so delicious. Love it. Do you not like eating pumpkin? You don't like pumpkin, do you?
Did you just say whey protein, Holden?
Of course.
My guy.
No one's eating freaking plant protein.
Yeah, I don't.
Why did you say my guy when I said whey protein? Because I just got back from the gym. I wanted a little protein in it.
I mean, like, what is this? The Jersey Shore? Gym Tan Laundry?
Is this Matt? Whatever, Matt. Guy has a sleepover last night and couldn't get laid. Imagine that.
Oh,
like button would be wonderful. Let's just move on. Like button will be, because I could go down a rabbit hole there. Like button, and then
Please
if you're watching on X, come on over to YouTube, subscribe to our channel, Nuke the House, turn on your notifications. I promise you, you won't be sad. It'll take you very little time. And if you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, just subscribe to it. Nuke the House channel. That's where you're watching it. Let's go. Titans, Bills. Titans getting 9 in Buffalo. 41 is the total. I say gross. You got anything on this game?
I have things on all games this week.
But you're supposed to say pass on the ones you're not going to bet.
Well, hey, man.
Tony Pollard. That's the only guy I'll give you. Tony Pollard.
Bills are basically, where are we at? Like 9?
9. I just said 9. Do you want an alt line? Do you want some other lines depending on where you shop? There's an 8.5 at FanDuel. There's a 9 out there. There's a 9.5 at BetMGM. This isn't getting to 10 though.
Yeah, I agree. The total was as high as 43 at one point, dropped basically. Where are we at? 41.5?
Yeah.
All right. So biggest news in this game is Amari Cooper, right? Gets traded to the Buffalo Bills. They needed him desperately. To be fair, they finally now have a guy that can extend the field for this team, especially on third downs where they struggled tremendously this year. And it should be a great combo with Shakir in the slot. Now they actually have a deep threat. So this feels like exactly what Josh Allen needed, but I guarantee you that he's going to throw more picks now moving forward than what we've seen from him and how he's protected the ball this year. Why has he only thrown 1 interception? It's pretty simple, because he throws the ball basically 5 yards.
Okay.
Now that's over. Amari Cooper is going to get involved in this offense, and he's going to get involved downfield. And my gut says Josh Allen's probably going to get slightly more careless with the football. But still, definitely a net positive for the Bills. My issue with this line is you're paying a premium now with Amari Cooper built into the line. But the problem with that, like, I guess there's perceived value on the Titans with Levis, but the kid is terrible. Like, they weren't able to find success against the Colts cornerbacks last week. Not sure how that's going to translate into doing something against this Buffalo defense, who has looked very good so far this year. Even you can make the argument that it's a short week for Buffalo, but Will Levis is really, really bad. So I'm going to lean Buffalo. And I say that the play, if you want to bet the total in this game, is to back the Buffalo Bills team total over rather than touch the full game total. which is what I might end up doing in this game. But
Ooh.
so yeah, lean Bills team total over. And to be honest, I would probably bet that before I laid 9. But at 8.5, you can throw them in a teaser. So that's an option this week too. But yeah, lean Buffalo.
All right, very good. Tyler, you live in Colorado. Go harvest an elk and eat some meat. Elk are awesome, dude. I don't eat elk. I tried it one time. It's disgusting. They live right down the road from me. They're just wonderful creatures. You don't want to mess with them, Keg. They're thousands of pounds, but they're wonderful creatures. Truly beautiful.
They taste pretty good too.
You like the taste of elk? It's a little too gamey for me.
I've had it. I could deal with it. Do you like deer?
I'm not a venison guy either, and not because I feel bad for the deer. It just doesn't taste good to me, dude. There is a exotic meat restaurant here in town that you'd think of anything besides for like tigers. They got them. Like I tried oxen there. Oxen is the most disgusting thing I've ever. Well, second most disgusting thing I ever put in my mouth, and I won't tell you the first.
What's the name of the place?
I don't remember. I went to it when it was 2008 when I was out here for the World Series. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge like wild game guy either, if I'm being honest.
No.
Yeah, I'm not really either. But I mean, I can get down with deer.
Like if we went duck hunting, would you eat the duck?
I mean, I enjoy duck. Like I've had duck and it's been very good.
Too greasy for me.
What do you eat, Holden?
I love chicken. I'll eat turkey, especially at Thanksgiving. I'll have some turkey. That'd be great. Love fish. Big fan of the fish.
So you're a 60-year-old housewife, basically.
What do you mean? What does this have to do? 60-year-old housewife eat the same thing?
Yeah, they eat chicken, fish, and burgers, right? I mean, I
don't know.
What you're telling me, that's where we're at.
All my daughter eats is grilled cheese and chicken nuggets. So,
well, yeah, I mean, that's acceptable. She's a little kid. You're a full-grown adult, man.
If you like food, hit the like button. That'd be wonderful. Seahawks Falcons is our next game. You're not gonna like some of the things I'm gonna throw at you from this game. But first, the Falcons have some issues defensively.
Sure, they do.
They do. 31st in the NFL, allowing opponents to score on 50% of the drives to start the game. That's not good. Every team has ran for at least 114 yards against the Falcons. 5 of 6 have gone for 128 plus. Geno Smith, though, is going to be facing a cover 3, and Geno is much better in the man scheme, going against the man scheme. So talk to me here. They want to limit explosive pass plays over the top. Can Geno get it done?
So this side specifically, probably the market's most undecided this week. It's gone back and forth between 2.5 and 3 pretty much multiple times this week. What do we have the total sitting at right now?
We got a 51 and Seahawks +3 on the road. That's just DraftKings, but for the most part, the industry really isn't too far off. Everybody's -3 at this point, and I'm seeing 51s everywhere. So it's just stuff. Right. A 51.5 at FanDuel if you want to go to the under.
So the Seattle defense just nowhere near as good as we thought it was. And I saw people trying to give them a pass for the game last week, but it's that Giants game that really exposed that defense for me. I know Seattle is dealing with injuries. They need as much help as they can stopping the run. And that's going to be an issue this week because the Atlanta Falcons are probably going to get whatever the hell that they want on the ground this week. This season, we know what Seattle wants to do on offense. They throw the ball more than any team in the National Football League through 6 weeks. And when you consider the defenses that Geno has seen the last 4 weeks, this is going to be a walk in the park for him, bro, because the Atlanta Falcons pressure rate is non-existent. He will have 3 weeks to throw the football on Sunday. And how committed they've been to the pass this year, Geno might throw for 400 on Sunday. I said it. He might throw for 400 on Sunday. Now, that being said, I'm vibing today, bro. I'm in my flow state.
Are you feeling all full of Fanta?
Yeah, I'm in my flow state right now. But that being said, we're gonna have to back the Atlanta Falcons running backs in some kind of way because Seattle's gonna have a very hard time, I think, stopping them, especially with the injuries. I don't know how yet, but we're probably gonna have to get on them too. But yeah, Geno to the moon. Honestly, I don't know who wins this game. Both teams could win this game. Both teams are okay. I think the player props market is what you attack in this game, big time. So we will be looking to do that. In terms of the side, I don't know. I really don't know. Who do you think wins this game?
I think I don't give a shit who wins this game. I just want to. I just want your bet that you put out to our members to win. That's all I'll say. That's all. I don't give a shit. The only reason I'm going to watch is because of the bet you gave out. Now,
fair enough.
If you want some rushing props, Bijan 63.5, Algier 38.5. I mean, we could talk about the attempts too, but it seems like it's something you're going to dive into later in the week. But this Falcons team couldn't run until they faced the Panthers last week.
Yeah, but the defensive front seven is in bad shape for Seattle.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be able to run the football. And
Mason was going to get 100 yards in the first half if he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And let's not forget, like coming into the year, the Atlanta Falcons offensive line was ranked second in the league behind Detroit. They've got a very good offensive line. So I think that they're going to get whatever they want on the ground.
If you have any bets you want to throw in the chat, go and do it. We can discuss them. I can throw it out at Keg. If Keg says, yeah, I don't mind that, that means he doesn't like your bet.
That's not true. That's not true at all.
That's so true. You've never, ever bet a bet where you said, I say
two things. I say, I don't mind that, or that's worth a bet. That's it. Those are the two things I say.
I don't like that. But that's a bet. No, you always say the thing I just said.
Yeah,
I don't mind that.
I don't mind that. I either say that or I say that's probably worth a bet.
Whatever. All right. You're making up nonsense now. Our next game is one that's going to be played very close to you, my friend. The Eagles and the Giants. Giants getting 3 at home. 43 is the total. Second sharpest better I know besides for Keg is all over the Eagles in this game. So you got to ask yourself, what the hell is going on with the Eagles? They scored 20 points against the Browns last week.
This guy.
Hurtson turned the ball over, but idiot Sirianni is their head coach. I mean, Nick Sirianni. And then for the Giants, my God, the Giants, Daniel Jones just, I'm looking for Tracy to be more involved in the offense, but with Singletary coming back, I don't think he can bet his props. But the one thing we could say is that the Giants defense has been pretty good. They really have been. They have shut down some decent offenses, and they've gotten to the quarterback quite a bit. So talk to me here. It's a frustrating Giants team, an extremely frustrating Eagles team, and I think this line's just going to sit where it is.
Who are you talking about, Ray-Ban?
Of course.
Yeah, I agree. But here's the problem. Nick Sirianni is a clown, bro. He is, without a doubt, the biggest crumb of any head coach in the National Football League. That guy was blowing himself after beating the Browns by 3 points. He's a beta.
Talking to the Eagles fans. He talks shit to the Eagles fans.
Yeah. That tells me everything I need to know about Sirianni. He did the same shit last year, and the club became the worst team in football for the last 6 weeks of the year. Here's the problem. And it's been the theme this week. This line is wrong. I know that the Eagles were a bigger favorite earlier in the week. The line was 4 at one point. We're at 3. I just don't understand what is causing the line to move. Like, I know that Sirianni had to go out during a press conference, had to apologize for being the biggest herb to ever do it. But like, the line's weird, man. Like Sirianni being weird is an issue if he lost the locker room, which concerns me in this game. But like, if we're just looking at this line objectively, there is 100% value on the Philadelphia Eagles. But when you consider what happened at the end of last year, and then another embarrassing outburst that can impact this team again, I don't know what that's going to mean when they actually decide to play the game. So everything I just said is the reason why I have not bet Philly yet. But I agree with Raybon. The Eagles feel like the side. There's definitely value in this number at 3, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get there. I don't know what to make of the locker room right now.
So, couple things with this. Are we buying into a Barkley revenge game narrative? None of his props are up yet, but do we want to back that from the revenge game narrative? And then, second of all, do you think it gets back to 3.5 with the Eagles being 3.5 favorites?
I would lean that this line gets back. Yeah, I would think that this line goes back up. Okay. If it goes down, if it continues to go down, I don't know what the hell is going on.
So, the second thing to get into is Yoon Ko. Back to Geno. Does Geno have the most passing yards on Sunday?
Oh, Jesus. Well, I think we can count on him to throw the most attempts on Sunday. I would have to know the number. It would have to be good. If it's less than 10-1, I wouldn't even remotely consider it. But I think I would rather just go with the guy to get over 300 and go up from there rather than bet him to have the most passing yards on the slate.
Want to ask Keg the Cirrus. You know what Cirrus is? My dad says it's just some old theater stuff. He goes, "This guy's giving me Cirrus." The guy that causes the most pain to Keg, the head coach, is it Sirianni, LaFleur, or McCarthy? Who do you hate more? Put them in order. Number 1 is the worst. Number 2 is almost as bad. Number 3 is almost.
Definitely LaFleur is number 1 because he cost me money this year.
Okay.
Sirianni number 2. Mm-hmm. And McCarthy, like he has earned the right to be fired. He should not be coaching that team anymore. That's my only issue with him. I mean,
yeah, you and I disagree on that.
All right.
Again, like very few coaches are very good with X's and O's. And I know when McCarthy gets to the playoffs, he's always going to choke. But as far as the regular season go, he makes everything more calm in the locker room, and everything's now on Jerry Jones. It's not on the players. Jerry Jones wanted to get his talk show hosts fired this week because he's paying them. They're on the payroll there. It's just a complete shit show.
Here's the good news. You probably won't have to worry about him losing a game in the playoffs this year. Okay. You're probably not going to have to worry about that.
All right, buddy. Like button. Do it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House. Let's keep going. Colts, Dolphins getting 3 on the road with Snoop Huntley. Richardson's probably coming back. No Jonathan Taylor in all likelihood. So we've got some big injuries there. The more you dig into the numbers, the more you see that, Josh Downs can be okay with Richardson. It's the rest of the offense that's going to get a huge downgrade. And for Miami, I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing at this point? So Dolphins +3, 43.5 is the total. I could dig into the line movement a little bit more. I'm seeing a 3.5 out there. For the most part, it's 3. And the total has come down after briefly touching 44 today, back to 43.5.
This is another game, Holden, where the line doesn't make any sense, man. So we're still waiting to see if the Buckner news. Hey, did he practice?
I'm going to go look at the practice report right now.
I know he's been on IR, but I think he comes off IR this week. And like that would help the Colts front 7 tremendously because this team just can't get off the field on 3rd down this year.
Did you know that they haven't sacked the quarterback in 2 games?
I did not know that, actually.
Holy shamoly.
So it looks like Richardson will play. We're still waiting to see if Jonathan Taylor will play. Last I checked, I looked to see if he played in practice, but the report wasn't out last time I looked. Listen, I would rather have Flacco playing this game. Obviously, it would be a huge bump for the Colts team if they could, if he's playing. But Taylor is important. If Richardson is going to be your quarterback, you need the foundation of your offense to be Jonathan Taylor. So him playing this week is very important. Miami looks like they're going to go with Huntley in at quarterback. Probably the best chance that they have at the position, I guess. I'm not going to bet a side in this game, but here's one thing that I will note in this game, and it's the reason why I always love looking back at where we've been this season to allow you to know where we're going to go, right? So Miami and the Colts have two common opponents. They both played the Jags. They both played the Titans, okay? Miami just closed under a field goal favorite at home to the Titans earlier in the year. Okay. What did we see last week? We saw the Titans close 2.5-point favorites at home to the Colts. So now we see the Colts basically being a 3.5-point favorite when you're sitting at 3 minus $1.25, right? And like to Miami, like that tells me that the wrong team is favored in this.
Whoa!
No, not that they're favored, but we're talking about a team that the other team would be favored on a neutral field. Okay. So this line is off. There's value on the Dolphins in this game, 100%. But am I running to the window to back Huntley this week? I am not. So that's the reason why I can't bet it, because it's Miami. But if you look at the lines from both of those games, from the Jags game and the Titans game, and you look at where this line is right now, undoubtedly, Miami should be a favorite on a neutral field. And this line says that's not the case. So there's value on Miami, but I can't get there because Huntley's playing. But I'm still going to lean Miami. I'm not betting them, but if you had to pin me down, I'm going to take the 3. And I lean under 43.5 in this spot. Not sure I'll get there, but I definitely lean under.
So Steichen says the Colts are having discussions about DeForest Buckner coming back. He's eligible to return from IR, but it doesn't look like it's trending in that direction. They can't pressure the quarterback, man. I can't believe that. I didn't even know that stat till I found it. 8 straight quarters without a sack.
I don't know how you could back the Colts with Anthony Richardson playing quarterback if Taylor's not your running back. I just can't do that. So yeah, it's Miami or pass for me.
And then Jason in our chats, like, Taylor didn't practice, Sermon didn't practice, and at least Tyler Goodson and Evan Hull. That's not good whatsoever. Okay, our next game. We got the 4:00 games. Panthers, Commanders. Commanders laying 8 at home. 52 is the total. It just seems to me that not much can stop this Washington offense with Daniels under center. Obviously, Derrick Henry ate him up last week. Chuba Hubbard has been terrific, but he's no Derrick Henry. So Panthers +8, 52 total in Landover, Maryland. Do the Panthers have a chance of covering this thing? That's a big number.
That's a big number. I agree for sure. The over got smashed in this game, and I totally understand the move. The Panthers front 7 is a joke, right? We know that. Endless injuries has put this team in a spot where they're signing guys off the street to help them right now, and they weren't good when they were fully healthy. So my first question is, did Robinson practice for Washington?
Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's back on there. I will give you a 100% news on that. But yeah, I thought I saw something. Yeah, they got good injury news on him. He's limited in his return to practice. Yeah.
All right. So if he's a go, I could see this team running for 200+ yards on Sunday without question, because we know the Panthers can't stop me from running the football. Never mind an NFL caliber running back. But worth noting, Carolina Panthers are probably going to find their own success on offense this week, because the Commanders are also dealing with their own injuries. They could be down as many as 2 starting DNs. Obviously, they lost Jonathan Allen, not there right now. And we're already talking about a defense that's rated dead last in the league in defensive EPA. So you wrap that up in a bow, and it's easy to see why we've seen such a big move to the over this week. I have to see what my PR has for this game after the show. But right now, without finishing the PR, I would say slight lean to the Carolina Panthers, because this number's inflated. 9 seems like a lot of points, man. That seems like a lot.
I mean, I'm still seeing 8s.
Well, I thought it was 9 this morning. Where are we at right now?
8 at DK.
That's 8.5. 8.5 minus 122 at FanDuel right now. So I mean that's a lot. No argument on the move on the total. Unfortunately, that number has passed us by, but this game's probably going to go over. Aside from that, I've got nothing. Slight lean to the Carolina at the number.
So here's what we got going on this week at Nuke the House. Thursday night live show, free for everybody. Thursday night football, we'll be betting the Saints and the Broncos. And as expected, it's official now. Olave and Shaheed are out. You'll get news on Surtain sooner than later, too. He's probably not going to play. Friday, 4 o'clock Eastern, Nuke the Props. Make sure you sign up, subscribe to our YouTube page, too. Nuke the House YouTube page. We got a lot of good shows going on. And then next week, next Wednesday, we debut our NBA live show with some NHL sprinkled in there, too. So we got Spread and Zargo Wednesday night. 7 o'clock Eastern time, NBA NHL season. Zargo, I tailed Zargo again today. He's been doing really well in the hockey off the bat. Not a shock, right?
No, he made like 30 units last NHL season. Yeah. He's very solid.
Yeah, if you bet the hockey, go for it. Zargo's your man. Raiders Rams, our next game. Raiders getting 6.5 on the road in LA. Rams coming off a bye here. 43.5 is the total. Raiders get no offense every single game. I mean, they suck. They can't run the ball. They can't pass the ball. They can't protect the quarterback. Defensively, they're not terrific. The Rams are kind of middle of the road in offense, even without Nakua and Kupp so far this season. But yeah, this is a mediocre team against a horrible team. And the line says just like that. Rams minus 6.5. But again, now we're talking 6.5. That's a big number, Keg. 43.5 total.
Yeah. So here we go again, Holden. This line was 5.5 before the news of Devontae Adams. Okay. They moved the line 1.5. And I think that there still are some 7s. There were 7s all morning out there. So let's start here. Devontae Adams, at his absolute best in his prime, with Aaron Rodgers at his absolute best in his prime, still wasn't worth 1.5 to the line. Probably not even a point, although let's say I'll give him 1 point to the line, okay? But we're at 1.5. He was playing on a team where he was completely ineffective when he actually played. 1 touchdown, 200 yards, 3 game, yet the line moved to 1.5, right? He hadn't played in weeks, supposedly because he was dealing with an injury that I assume just magically disappeared now that he's on a new team. But he was already phased out of the offense while they were shopping this guy around to get him off the team. Yet the line moved to 1.5. There's no other reason that this line has moved outside of Devontae Adams. You can't give me one. So what does all that mean? It means it's gross, but there's a little value in the Raiders this week. That's just what it is. This line should be 5.5. It should not be anything other than 5.5. But
bet?
I don't know yet, Holden. But do I think that the Rams are the better team? I do, but they're still dealing with they're still dealing with injuries, and I just couldn't.
Like my mom. I don't know yet. Hold it.
I just can't back them at this number. I think if you bet this game, you have to hold your nose. You have to bet the Raiders, even though it's disgusting. But when the line is wrong, it's wrong, man. And you cannot justify the move off just the Devontae Adams trade. You can't. I'm sorry. So
the guy hasn't played. He hasn't even played the last couple of weeks.
Exactly.
So what are we doing here? Factoring him into the mix? He's not. He hasn't played. So it's Bauer's season. Bauer's going to go ape shit. I'm telling you that now.
So I'm going to lean the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I might get there. I actually might get there.
What about Bowers this week up against a team that can't cover the tight end?
Yeah,
I'll have you look into it. I'll tell
Adam's already breaking my balls to hop in StreamYard on Wednesday night for hours. So I'll be doing that tonight.
Well, you know what I'm doing tonight?
Going through all the player props.
I'm doing an at-home date. We're going to play a sexy card game. We're going to have fun. We're going to make dinner together.
Wait a minute.
And then we're going to we're going to watch The Golden Bachelorette.
What are you doing on Saturday?
Huh? Saturday?
Yeah. Oh, you don't have that night too?
We got Wednesday and Saturday, yeah. But I won't have Wednesdays going forward because we're doing NBA.
True.
So I got to get in this while I can, pal. It just came out the wrong way. I didn't mean it that way. Chiefs at the Niners, marquee matchup. Chiefs getting 1.5 on the road, -10 both sides, 47 total. Mahomes 10-1-1 as a dog. Andy Reid 31-7 with 2 weeks of rest. All the trends tell you to go one way. Jordan Mason limited in practice. I don't even give a shit if he plays or not. It doesn't matter anymore. So we know the Chiefs are playing great defense, and we know that their offense has not been explosive in the passing game. They did bring Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. We'll see if he gets out there this week. Kareem Hunt looked great, though, the last time we saw this team play. Is it as simple as just backing Mahomes as a dog, or when you dig deeper into it, are there some other things that pop up?
I mean, two good trends for you right now is backing Mahomes as a dog, and Andy Reid just doesn't lose off a bye. Right? They're coming in off the bye, correct?
I wish someone had just said that.
This is the only game that I have not dug into yet completely.
Oh, great. It's only the best game of the week.
I know. I was saving it for last, man.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So I'm not really sure where I'm at yet, but I will say I don't think I've ever faded Andy Reid off a bye the last few years since he's had Mahomes.
Yeah.
So there's no way I could back San Fran, probably. I could probably only look towards KC, but I'll dig into the game and I'll have more for subs later in the week.
10-1-1 Mahomes as a dog.
Yeah, and what's Andy? Straight up.
31-7 when he's had 2 weeks to prepare.
That's stupid.
He hasn't been a head coach for 38 years, but there have been times where they played on Thursday, haven't played again until the following Monday.
Right.
I think that's what they're talking about.
That's stupid.
He's been absolutely insane. Like button to be wonderful. I'm going to keep telling you till you do it. And if you already did it, thank you. You're an amazing person. And then subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House. We got free articles out. Spread just sent me his article this week in sports betting, which is cool. Tomorrow, JC Zargo's Thursday Night Football free article comes out. So be on the lookout for those. Now, we usually don't break down the Steelers and the Jets, but it's a Sunday night game, and we're not going to break the actual game down. I just want to get Keg's thoughts on two things. First of all, we start with Davante Adams. So his hamstring has felt fine the last couple of weeks, feels amazing again. He was hanging out at Aaron Rodgers' house the last couple of days, probably sleeping there. He's going to be a nice addition to this offense. It's not a cure-all, though, is it, Keg? Like,
no.
They're still going to have their issues.
Of course. They already had Garrett Wilson. I mean, is Davante better than Garrett Wilson right now, Holden?
Let's see how he does. I'm not ready to write Davante off. I would say the better physical specimen at this point in his career is Garrett Wilson, but Davante Adams still has something left, and a lot.
I'll tell you, if Fields was playing in this game, I would probably stay away from this game. But considering that it's Russ's first start, definitely, they said he's starting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be looking to fade Russ in his debut start in 2024. So I'm probably going to be on the Jets.
I've seen enough of that clown, Russell Wilson. His career's over. It's
Yeah.
done.
What is Tomlin? I mean, what is he thinking?
Well,
why would you go away from the kid?
I think that they probably made up their mind in the preseason that, listen, Russ is going to be our starter, and when he's finally healthy to play, we're going to play him. But through this sample to start the season, Justin Fields, outside of the running ability, he has been the same player that Russell Wilson was in his last year in Denver.
How many points do you think Pittsburgh could score this week with him, considering like how
16, 17. They might be able to run the ball a little bit. But I think 16, 17 points isn't out the question. 3 field goals and a touchdown. They can't get that.
What's their team total right now?
Keg. Let me look it up for you.
I got it already.
All right, what is it?
It's 18 and a half minus 112. 19 and a half to the under minus 120. I don't think they're getting a 20, Holden.
Yeah, but it's 19. What was 20 again?
19 and a half under was like minus 120.
19's a weird number. That's 4 field goals and a touchdown. Weird shit like that could happen, but it'd still be under.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to bet the Jets. But if I don't, it will probably be because I bet the Steelers team total under. I'm fading Russ. I think he's washed. I think he's cooked. I don't understand the move. And I think we should fade him.
I think Tomlin just wants to see what the offense is going to look like with him. Pickens really hasn't been involved. I don't think it's the right move. And I thought Fields should have been the starter from the start, but I think he wants to get a look at the veteran and see how he moves the ball. I think he'll find out quickly it's not going to be a good idea.
Yeah, Tyler is a Pittsburgh guy. He says Fields playing would be even better to back the Jets. He can't throw in the middle of the field, so he'd be throwing into Reed and Sauce's territory. I just think he's so much better of a quarterback than Russ is right now, though.
All right. So we talked about Devontae. We talked about Russ. We got that out of the way. Can we just go back to the Lions-Vikings game real quick?
Yeah.
I'm just like you said something here, like you're not ready to pull the trigger, and all the sharps are on the Vikings. Like if you could find a 2.5 on the Lions, would that be enough to back the Lions, or would it have to get to 3, or what would be the thought process there?
Well, the line was 2.5 at DraftKings this morning. What is it right now?
It's between 2 and 1.5 everywhere now.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me because I thought the line was wrong to begin with.
How many points would you need to take Detroit? 3?
The only reason why I didn't pull the trigger is because I thought maybe I was going to. Well, the Aiden Hutchinson news really bothers me. And before I pull the trigger on Detroit, I want to know if Aaron Jones and TJ Hawkinson are going to play. I don't know if that move indicates Aaron Jones and Hawkinson look like they're going to play. They both participated, right?
They're hoping to get Aaron Jones out there again. They gave like this little sliver of hope that he could play.
Yeah, so maybe the line moved that way because they're not going to play. I don't know.
Uncertain. Aaron's progress is Aaron's going to progress throughout the week, and hopefully he's got a chance to play on Sunday. O'Connell.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Lions in this spot. It sucks that Hutchinson's not going to play, but I like them. I might pull the trigger, but if I do, it will probably be the money line regardless because I think they win the game. And under a field goal, you might as well just take the money line.
Or we can bet it live like we normally do.
Or we could bet it live. True.
That'd be nice. All right, thumbs up, like button as we get out of here. Those of you watching on X, come on over to the YouTube channel. Those of you on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed to the Nuke the House YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications. And our next big broadcast is going to be, Thursday Night Thoughts with me and Spread and Zargo at 4:00 tomorrow on Thursday. But Thursday Night Football, a little bit after 8, probably 8:10 we'll go on. And while it's a shitty game on paper, I already think there's a ton of bets and a ton of money to be made. I've been in the Discord today with some of the guys, and some of the bets they're coming up with are kind of sexy. And I know you got a bet that you put out there yesterday as well. So let's see what we're doing.
For the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like where we're at. I think it's a winner.
Yeah.
And tonight, the MMA pod, which is normally at 8:30, will be at 7:30 tonight, just to let everybody know.
7:30 tonight. Wonderful.
Correct.
Throw the graphic out. We will I should say. Talk to you for a minute after the show, and then we'll go. Let's go nuke the house.